Hello, good morning. This is Shubhendu, and I'm explaining how to play Sudoku. And as you can see, Sudoku means Su is single and Doku is digit, means that there ought to be a single digit in every particular uh, division of that whole board that you see out there. So, what does it consist of? It consists of nine blocks. Can you see the blocks? The blue blocks are the ones which have a thick line around them. Those are the blocks, and there are nine blocks. See, there's one block here, two, three. That makes three along the row wise blocks and three along the column wise blocks. The total of nine blocks, each with a thick outline. So nine blocks, 3 cross 3 blocks, made of nine squares each, 3 cross 3 squares each. So each block has three rows and three columns. So it has got 3 cross 3, nine columns. So total nine rows and nine columns. In the entire thing, there are nine rows and nine columns. If you ignore the thick line, total nine rows and nine columns. Total 81 squares. 3 cross 3 into 3 cross 3. Total 81 squares. Now, the thing is, while we play this, we need to fill it up. And what is the rule? I'll tell you the rule right now. So the rules are here. The rule is that each block, which consists of 3 cross 3 squares, each tall column, as you can see, the blocks are marked by the deeper, thicker lines. Tall column is the one you can see here. These are three tall columns here, and these are all tall columns. 1, 6, 8, 9. This is a tall column with some blanks in between. 4, 5, 7, 2. That's a tall column. Each tall column, which has nine squares, and each wide row, you can see the wide rows here. 1, 4, 2, 8, 3, 9 with gaps in between. 5, 6, 7, 1 with gaps in between. These are the wide rows. So each of these, the blocks, which are 3 cross 3 squares, the tall column, which is nine squares, and the wide row, which is nine squares, each of these should contain the digits 1 to 9 without any repetition. That is the main rule. Each must contain the digits 1, 2, 3 up to 9 once only without any repetition. So while playing, we have certain rules for ourselves. So as you can see, there are certain numbers which are kept here. Now we will introduce our own numbers. Let's call those numbers that we introduce as entries. Now all entries that we introduce will be marked by this form, En. For example, if you are introducing a number 6, it will be E6. If it is certain, if we are sure that the 6 must go exactly there. However, sometimes we will need to put some uncertain numbers also. These are sort of soft numbers. So these numbers we will mark like this. Let's say we know that the 5 will go either in this square or in that square. So we'll mark it like this, E5 hat with an arrow. The arrow will point to the other square where it can be. So the final goal is to fill up all the 81 squares to be as the hard entries, which is En, not as EK hat with an arrow. Here we will note one thing, that EK hat and EL hat, which are interlinked with each other. That means in one square there is EK hat with an arrow pointing to another square, and in that square, the second square, there is a EL hat with an arrow pointing to the first square, which indicates that KL occupy the two squares either as KL or as LK. So this is also another nice observation that we made, and this will help us in playing and filling up the squares quickly. So to remind you, we are playing here with the simplest of all rules. These rules are simple and easy to follow. This take more time. There are more complex patterns that we can apply, but those we will apply later, not in this phase. So now we will make our first attempt at an entry into this board where we can find the proper location. So let us look at this leftmost stack of three blocks, right? Now we can see that the entry 9 is there in the top block as well as in the bottom block. but it is not there in the middle block. So because of the rules, the entry 9 must be only in this middle portion, because this column has taken a 9, this column has taken a 9, only this column is left, the middle column is left. So it must be either here or here, either below the 7 or one more below the 7. But you see, if it is below the 7, then there's a row conflict. There's a 9 here. So it must be below one more below the 7. So that's where we'll put our entry 9. Let's put our entry 9 here. E9. Awesome. E9 is our entry for 9. Now we'll look at the middle row of 3 blocks. Look at the middle row of 3 blocks and let us try to find where the 3 must lie here in this one. So that there's a 3 in this one which rules out any 3 here. There's a 3 in this one which rules out any 3 here. There's a 3 in this one which rules out any 3 here. So there are now only 2 possible places where a 3 can go. See that? There are only 2 possible places where 3 can go. Here or here. Because these 2 are ruled out, these 2 are ruled out, and these 2 are ruled out. So finally we can put a E3 hat here. E3 hat. And the arrow pointing to the other position where it can be. So there you go. We have already put a E9 and a E3. E3 is uncertain, E9 is certain. A hard result and a soft result. And following the same rule which I just said, we can place E9 here and E3 here. Why? Because you can see that 9 in this middle block must lie in the middle vertical column. So where can it lie? Well, if you take a look at this thing, there's a E9 here. So this row is ruled out. There's a 9 here. So this row is ruled out. So the only place it can be is either here or here. But here below there's a 9. So that it can only be on E9. Similarly, E3 can only be here. It's easy to put E3 and E9 in these 2 places. You can try it out. So now we fill a few more. We fill a E7 here and an E9 hat here. And you can see easily why E7 must be here, because E7 has to be here because this middle column and the left column are occupied, has to be here. And there is a 7 here, so it cannot be here. So it has to be here. And E9, again, you can see that 9 is, this row is gone for 9, this row is gone for 9. So the only row which lives is this one. And there is no problem with either of those 2 positions. So E9 hat can be either here or here. This is a soft decision and this is a hard decision. Next we go on to put E3 here, this E3, and this E3 hat here. So you can now see where we put E3 and where we put E3 hat. So the E3, why it has to be there is you can see that there is a E3 here, so there can be no E3 here. There's a E3 here, there can be no 3 here. So it has to be either here or here, but there's a 3 here, so the E3 must be here. Its position is certain. And E3 here is uncertain because there's a 3 along this, so this column is gone. There's a 3 along this, so this column is gone. So now these 2 positions are left, and actually both of these positions are possible. We cannot rule out any one of them. So that's why E3 hat. So what we'll do now is we'll keep going in this way. We will not list out all the entries which we are doing one by one. We will put many entries here and we'll show you the entries at the end. And you are suggested to work on this yourself, and you will see that you also get the same entries as we got. So the idea is that we should be able to fill it up with as many certain entries as possible, and then we'll take care of the uncertain entries one by one. We'll show you how to take care of the finally of the uncertain entries. So we've made some progress here, haven't we? We filled up almost 80% of the entire board, and we've used only the simple rules that we say. And you can see that most of our entries are actually certain entries or hard entries. And you can see that we have an interlocking position here, E6 hat and E9 hat, which means that either 6 is in the left one and 9 in the right one, or 9 is in the left one and 6 in the right one. These are only two possibilities. So 6 and 9 are locked onto those two squares. So that's nice, and we'll keep going like this. So we made some progress, haven't we? Now, the thing is, we will demonstrate one usage of these interlocking positions. So we look at this interlocking position. There's 3 and 2 interlocking with each other. That means, what does it mean? It tells us that in one of those positions there's a 2 and the other there's a 3. That's for certain. So 2 and 3 have kind of used up that piece of space out there. Now, let's try to place a 6 here. So what is happening is 6 cannot be in this top one. It's obvious, it's already blocked. And also there's a 6 here. 6 cannot be in this one also because there's a 6 here. So 6 can be either here or here. But of course, there's a 6 here. So since there's a 6 here, the 6 has to be here. But also, let's say if we couldn't see this, then also we could say that because 3 and 2 have used up this position, so 6 cannot be here. It can be here only. So this is a sort of a simple partial use case of this interlocking positions. If the 6 had not been here, then also you could have said that the 6 has to be here because 2 and 3 have used up this space. Thank you. So now we will show how a soft entry or uncertain entry can be converted to a certain entry or a hard entry. So you can see that there is a soft entry here or an uncertain entry. The 2 is either here or here. But now if you look at this box or this block, 3 cross 3 block, you can see that there are only two numbers which are left, which is 2 and 5. All the other numbers, 1, 3, 4, 6, 9, 7, 8 are all filled up. So one of these must be a 5, the other must be a 2. Now if you look above and below, you'll find a 5 here. So since a 5 is here, there cannot be a 5 here. So the 2 must be here and the 5 must be here. So now we can change this to a hard entry by rubbing this off. Now it looks more like a hard entry. So we'll put this here, E2 and E5. That's it. We now change the uncertain entry to a certain entry. So now we can see that the board is all filled up except that there are certain interlocked entries. Other than the interlocked entries, we have only other than the interlocked entries which are somewhat uncertain. There are also all the other entries are either certain entries or already given numbers in the initial Sudoku. So now we'll show how these interlocked entries, some of them can be removed. For example, look at this one. There's a 2 and 3 in these two positions. Either a 2 here and 3 here or a 2 here and 3 here. But you can see that there is a 2 in this line, right? So there's a 2 in this line. It has to be either here or here. So this cannot be the position of 2. So 2 has to be here. So this is 2 here and 3 here. We have to swap these two positions. Similarly, if you look at if you look at this one, there's a 2 here and a 5 here, or a 2 here and a 5 here. But if there's a 2 here and a 5 here, then this will conflict with this 5. So it must be 2 here and 5 here, as it is indicated here. So we can easily remove these two uncertainties. So finally we have covered almost everything is certain now except for 3 linked pairs. One linked pair here, one linked pair here, one linked pair here. Now before we try to fill this up, let's look for a certain pattern in the Sudoku that we have thus created. Now you see this pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is basically the same pattern being repeated cyclically. So in different offsets. So you can see that all of them are like that. So now, if you look at try to resolve these uncertainties, you will find that there's even some ambiguity here. So you can keep a 3 here and a 9 here, and a 6 here and a 3 here, and a 9 here and a 6 here, or you can just swap it over and keep the other way around. But to maintain the linear pattern, the quasi-linear, the cyclolinear pattern, you need to put 3 here and 9 here. You need to put you need to put 6 here and 3 here, and you need to put 9 here and 6 here. So that's the final solution, and we'll just put it in, and then we will declare this as having been solved. So then with that, our Sudoku solution comes to a close. This is the final solved Sudoku.